Yo, somebody gave me a boomer car to work on. It's a 1968 Dodge Dart. Victim says the brakes don't work very good in this, and he wanted me to look at the brakes. Oh, by the way, that's a 340. So he tried to drive it here, and it didn't make it. I had to go pick him up with the tow dolly because the brakes failed on him. He just bought the car from California, apparently. And he said when he got it, the rear reservoir was empty. So he put brake fluid in that. And the front reservoir had fluid in it. And then he tried to drive it here. He also said the fluid is clear. I'm like, what does the fluid look like? He says it's clear. Okay. So I get to look at some brakes. And of course, you know, boomer cars like this are never just brakes. There's always other stuff going on. He started talking about things. I'm like, oh, why don't you just give me a laundry list? So he's got this running lights staying on, no brake lights, front running lights with a question mark, odometer, speedometer don't work, brakes are foobar, change belts for alternator. Yeah, breaks my footy. No, he got a little squeaker there. Little squeaky belts there. It's probably that one. What gives it up, right? And this is interesting. I see they got rid of the infamous ignition box for Chryslers. They put an MSD in it, and they just stabbed wires in here to make this thing work. Just stabbed wires, you know, no big deal, you know. It probably works great, all in boomer fashion. The ballast resistor is held in with gravity, so I'm sure that just works great. I plugged the battery in, and the rear brake lights stay on. I found some disconnected wires here and there already for some lights. He's got some grounds that are just hanging around for whatever, I don't know. These lights weren't working. They weren't even plugged in. Somebody probably painted this car and had a bunch of panels off on it. I don't know what's going on here. You know, I'm not a Dodge Dart queen, so I don't know a lot about this, but there's just, this is an antenna, obviously, but there's some wires hanging out on the inside of the fender for what I don't know. Maybe there's a light that goes here. I don't know. So we'll just stick that back in the hole. It looks like he's missing some inner fenders or something. And turn on his flashers, and they don't flash. Just typical rogue hippie boomer stuff. I suppose you're going to want to hear it run. So it actually does that. It didn't smoke up my garage either, which is healthy. I'm looking at the rear of the thing. Looks like he might have a little wheel cylinder leakage there. A little bit there too. A little leaker in the differential. This flexible brake hose looks a little crusty. I don't think I'd want to trust that for anything. And of course, it's got the fancy boomer exhaust on here. I found a hole in his header pipe. Looks like they had to make a little room for that idler arm there. Aha! I found his brake failure. That front hose burst on his way here. I wonder if that ball joint's good. Maybe. Oh yeah, this one doesn't look much better. Gee, I don't think I'd want to run on that. Well, it looks like the first thing I'm going to want to do to this is try to make this thing a little safer and give it some brakes. Here's a speedometer cable. That could be a problem. Looks like it melted on his boomer exhaust. Boomer's like, oh yeah, the rim, it's all discolored. I don't know what's going on. It didn't look like that when I bought the car. I think the drums are getting too hot. These are supposed to have some high temp paint on them, and it's just regular paint, so they're going to get hot enough to discolor. So I told him he's probably going to want to put some new paint on these or something, I don't know. Maybe just leave it the way it is. Call it fashion. Unlike the older Dodges, I think all four corners are right-hand thread on these. I actually get to use a 13/16 socket. Oh, I'm so excited to see what's behind this cute little drum. Oh my God. Wow. Oh, Jesus. Wow. Oh my God. Oh my God. Boomers, shame. This guy could have straight up died. That wheel cylinder doesn't even move. It's all locked up and oh my God. Brake pad. Okay, time for round 2. Oh wow, he's got mismatched tires, I just noticed. Boomers. Oh my God! Ooh, that piston actually moves, even though it's leaking like a sieve. What the hell just happened? See what kind of surprises we can get here. Wonder when the last time these were off. You know, when it comes to boomer cars, functionality is never as important as paint. Oh boy, I love these bandoilers. Oh geez, whatever you want to call this thing. It's a spring thing. Get back on there, spring thing. It's supposed to help it make a lot less noise than the rest of the car. Is that how that works? I should have told him he just needs $4,000 worth of boomer disc brakes and a power booster. Anything with the word power in it, you gotta put on this car because boomers are all about power. I think I'm gonna have to turn down that brake adjuster. There's a little wheel in there. Oh, nice. There's supposed to be a little adjuster holder thingamajigger in there, and well, if it's in there, it's not working. You put a little heat on these and it opens up the hole. And then they come right off. Wow, it looks like somebody actually cared about front brakes on this thing. Looks like it's all sort of working. You know, you don't need a dust cap either. Those are really overrated. It sounds like a good wheel bearing. See, when it makes noise like that, you know that it's rolling. Won't come off. Must be too much paint. Looks like those wheel cylinders are moving. This spindle looks less than amazing. Somebody ran this bearing until it made a mess of this and they ground it flat again. I got those brake lines on. That was easy. There's actually a copper washer to seal those on the wheel cylinder. Anyways, I'm gravity bleeding all that clear fluid out of here. I got new bearings and racers on the driver's side and the wheel bearings all packed, and I noticed that the washer's missing on this side. You need a washer that fits in this groove. And I took the hub off of the passenger side and I noticed that somebody must have had a little problem with the studs. Maybe they're half retarded, I don't know, but they decided to weld them all to the hub, which is kind of a freaking no-no. I don't know how they did it, or if they did it right, or if it is the right way to do something, but I guess I'm going to leave that alone. A little bit of rust in the wheel bearing. I was swabbing the grease out of here with my finger, and Houston, we have a problem. That's a race, not a bearing. It's not supposed to move. So this hub's got big dilemmas. What do I do? I know what to do. Use 2 fingers instead of 1. Ooh. Oh, I can almost get that out of there. Ooh, somebody did the old school peanut with a chisel trick. Ooh, look at that. That's some kind of fancy there. Wonder if they did a roadside repair. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a hub for this. No parts stores have it. The guy wants to get one. He's going to have to mail order it. So I'm going to do a recreation of Boomer Logic. And I'm going to pretend like I haven't done this before. Of course I have. And that's how backyard tree jackers do it. Of course, the seal didn't come off with the hub. It stayed on the spindle. Yeah, I thought, maybe I'll get lucky and it'll be just a freak thing. But no, I got the new seal here. And that sucks. No wonder why we got a rusted wheel bearing. What causes that to happen? Jesus, wow. The can't you just mechanic strikes again. I'm using the original seal. Why wreck the new one? Oh, that's not enough. Can't you just make it a little bigger? Wow, that's not even close to beautiful. Go bigger or go Homer. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, that's gonna fit so nice. There. And that's what you call insert tough guy boomer biker catchphrase. Had to get one new dust cap. They only come in pairs, and they only come in chrome. That one don't fit. It's too loose, imagine that. Had to hit this with a side cutter and put 4 notches in that. Oh, that's nice and tight now. My gravity bleeding ain't working, so I got the one-man bleeder going on here. I just very lightly clamp off all 3 of my brand new hoses and keep pushing down on the brake pedal because that'll hold the pressure from the clamp up. That way I can bleed out the master cylinder and the lines all the way up to there. And then when it starts puking fluid all over in that dirty, filthy bucket, then I know it's gonna be all bled out. With them hoses clamped down, I got a nice hard pedal. That's how I know that master cylinder's okay and I got all the air bled out of it. And then I can just push it down. It's a little hard, it's supposed to be, because it's holding pressure. And do that a bunch until I get clean, clear fluid out of all 4 corners. Cleaned up these wires. Fastened it down a little bit so it's not flopping around too much. Put the ballast resistor where the Chrysler Magic box was. There was a positive screwed onto here too for the MSD, and I moved that down here. And the ground was screwed to this too, so I put the ground right here because it was in a spare. And I still don't know what the heck's going on with the wiring and the lighting. I think I found it. Boomer don't know how to hook up a brake light switch apparently. It's not even, here's the brake pedal. It's got some zip ties on it and it's not even hooked up to anything. So I can imagine if I push this in, because the pedal's supposed to be all the way up against it. Jeez, man. I'm pretty sure that brake light will turn off. I bent that bracket. That brake switch is just right. Let it down just a hair, and it turns the ground off on the switch. No zip ties needed. I absolutely love his Boomer battery hold down too, by the way. There isn't one. These rear drums are an absolute nightmare because, well, for one, I didn't really know how all this goes back together because everything just fell on the ground. I got new wheel cylinders and I got hardware from O'Reilly's, and they gave me 4 different boxes of hardware with adjusters in it. All of this stuff is wrong. I went to AutoZone and I got this stuff because these adjusters are supposed to be the right ones for the car, and well, they're wrong. This cable's too short. I looked it up for other cars. It's for like a Jeep and a Dodge Caravan. None of this is right. You can tell these springs are stretched out too much. This spring doesn't even belong here. The adjuster, I guess I could use. I can't use the cable, so I didn't put any of that stuff in there. I found some mail order stuff though where somebody's selling the right kit and it's made for 10-inch drums. It's like 50 bucks. I'm going to have them get that kit and I'm going to have to put it in here. But for now, I'm just wasting money putting this together because I can't get this thing out of my garage fast enough. I got the drums turned. I can't believe those cleaned up. I can't imagine how much meat they had to take off of this thing. I'm just gonna adjust this drum really nice on both sides. Took an air hammer to his header and made a better dent and welded that little hole up. I found another spot that was hitting too right there, so I air hammered that a little bit. Those work pretty good for that. That's something he didn't put on his laundry list. Boomer's been driving around on the safety latch. The hood don't shut. Oh gee, I wonder why. Amazing. I think that's as close as I'm gonna get it. There's a grommet that's missing over here. I guess I'll call that good enough stuff. I'm gonna let this car go. Okay, bye.